between Bryan Cook, Darian Kinnard, and Leo Chenal, who makes more of an impact in year one? Conner, initially I went Bryan Cook, but then I was like, Leo Chenal, his plays will probably cut pretty deep. Like he's going to make some splash plays potentially this season. So I almost want to say a toss up between those two. I still lean Bryan Cook, but I think both will get mostly respectable like snap counts. If the Chiefs get creative with Chenal like they can, then it could be him. I just don't know if Kinnard's going to win that right tackle job. And if he doesn't, he's not really going to make an impact. If he wins the job, it's obviously him, even if he doesn't play great, because good starting caliber 100% of the snaps is better than solid, 30% or whatever it's going to be. So I think it's a toss up between those two. I might lean Bryan Cook, but like I could be talked out of that pretty easy.
The interesting about these three is where they played in the first practice. Bryan Cook, Leo Chenal, both on the second team defense. What's his name? The K-State linebacker, Elijah Lee, was the starting Sam today, which was interesting. I think he was the Sam. Did we ever get a confirmation that he was the Sam and Willie Gay was Will?
I believe he was the Will, and because
Elijah Lee's
yes.
Elijah Lee's played Will before.
Yes.
And we know Willie Gay's played Sam for the Chiefs.
Yep, exactly.
So I don't know where they lined up, honestly. But all those players played second team. Darian Kinnard, who had guard versatility heading in the draft, people thought he would be maybe a guard in the NFL, played second team right tackle. So they're not moving him around, having him learn a different spot right now. They're having him at right tackle, which is interesting to note as Andrew Wiley took the first team reps. So I would say right now they're all kind of where you would think they would be, other than maybe Leo Chenal. It's a little bit surprising he's not with the first team, but so trying to project them, it's kind of like they're in the same spot. I would probably lean Leo Chenal because I think he'll win that job, the Sam job. And I think he will be, it's hard for me to envision him not at least having a nice role as a blitzer in those blitz packages. His skill set's really indicative of staying around the line of scrimmage, attacking downhill. Not too hard for a rookie to fill that role. He just needs to attack his gaps and be explosive, which is what he was doing at Wisconsin. I think Bryan Cook, there's a lot more mentally that he has to absorb, and I think he can. He's a smart dude. It's just there's a lot more going into it for him, to where I feel like it might just be harder for him as a rookie to get that done. So I don't know. We didn't really see, I guess, nickel snap, so we didn't know if he would have been the guy to come in. Oh no, we did. It was Josh Williams coming in nickel so far today. So he didn't get in on nickel, so it's hard to say if they did three safeties, if he would be the one in there. So that one's a harder role to project right now. So I'll say Leo Chenal.
Yeah, dude, it's so hard to go off of a training camp.
There's so many rookies.
Exactly.
And this is not a thing with Spags. He doesn't like starting rookies, but Brett Veach probably forced his hand a bit.
He's like, dude,
he's like, play these young guys. So it's hard to see how they'll end up.
Yeah, and it's tough to go off camp, let alone one day of camp. Like we just don't effing know what's going to happen. So I could, like I said, I could be talked off of Cook. You pointing out like he has a lot more to learn potentially than Chenal. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Like, I don't know. I can't remember who made this point, but like the Chiefs playbook install is going to be rough, especially on the defensive side. Yes. Yeah. How they're going to try to install everything, but like they've barely done much. Then they're going to dial it back. I wonder how much dialing back they're going to have to do. They're not going to have the full package available at the beginning of the year, but like the Chiefs save stuff on offense till the end of the year all the time. But I think the difference was last year, the year before, a lot of those guys were the same. They knew what was going on. Now defensively, even partially offensively for the partial part, defensively, none of those guys really know what's going on. Like L'Jarius Sneed knows, Juan Thornhill knows, but Justin Reed doesn't know. Leo Chenal doesn't know. Bryan Cook doesn't know. Nick Bolton mostly knows. Willie Gay kind of knows. we'll talk about those.
It's like half the defense that it's new.
Exactly. And that's a lot.
Justin Reed said today also, he's like, this playbook's really deep and there's a lot going on in it. And he's a Stanford grad. So when he says that, it's probably serious. I think Spagnuolo is going to throw the book at him these first few weeks, see how much they can absorb. And then for like the preseason games, he might dial it back and go, okay, this is what week 1 we're going to try and do. He's just going to try and see, because like the Chiefs, it seemed like they were targeting heady players, like Trent McDuffie, heady player, Justin Reed, heady player. So George Karlaftis, pretty heady player. So it's like they went out and got these guys with the high football IQs. So they're going to see if they can really stretch that football IQ to the max, and then probably dial it back a bit as we get closer to the season.